This episode is brought to you by Maple Hills, the experts in top-tier podcast production. Whether you're launching your first show or leveling up your current podcast, Maple Hills has the tools, talent, and experience to bring your vision to life. From recording and editing to branding and distribution, they handle it all, so you can get focused on what you do best, creating great content. Ready to take your podcast to the next level? Visit maplehills.com and let the pros handle the rest. Now, let's get back to the show. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of From the Stands. I'm Courtney.
I'm Kendall.
And this is...
I'm Sam.
And we'll get Sam introduced to you guys here in a little bit. But real quick before we dive into this episode, we wanted to kind of talk about what's going on in the sports world. And I feel like Sam can explain the MLB stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So baseball started. The official start of the regular season was this last week in Tokyo, Japan. The Cubs and the Dodgers
Wait,
played.
I didn't know it was in Tokyo.
They totally screwed the Cubs because the Dodgers are literally the reigning world champions, and the Cubs kind of got blown out, and it hurt my heart because I'm a Cubs fan. So, but it was fun. I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the games, and then was heartbroken. So, and then this upcoming Thursday, all the other 28 teams plus the Cubs and Dodgers are gonna start opening day. So Thursday.
Thursday's the day to look out for baseball. NBA.
Yeah, we're starting to hit that home stretch. We still have there's about 12 games until we start getting closer to playoffs. So kind of looking out. I feel like it's starting to sift out who's going to be making it and who's not. Which teams are tanking and which ones aren't. So
real quick, what are your guys' hot takes on who's staying or who's going to make it and who's gonna both extremes for NBA?
So it's the Western Conference that's really no one knows who exactly the 8 teams are going to be. But it's probably the Kings and the Suns and the Mavericks are all fighting to try and get in. But I think all 3 of them are going to miss. And then the Eastern Conference is boring, so no one wants to talk about the Eastern Conference. So I think it's going to be Clippers, Timberwolves that make it in the West, and then obviously Warriors, Lakers, Grizzlies. So it shouldn't be too crazy. It's the seeding that really matters. Who's going to be the 1 seed, who's going to be the 2 seed, the 1 seeds are decided. Who's going to be the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then who's going to get in the play-in. So that's what to look out for in the NBA.
I don't think my Raptors are going to make it this year.
No.
They started off rough. Had a couple good games, but it's not going to.
So the Jazz are going all the way, right?
The Jazz
are going to win it all.
Definitely.
They're going to win it all. If you're listening from outside of Utah, we are all currently in Utah. So we gotta show some state pride, but not a lot. Anyways, that brings us to hockey, which is my favorite. And the thing you need to know right now is teams are getting eliminated from the playoffs. So they're already prepping for next season. Sucks, because it's not even April. But I think we have one team that has clinched a spot. I don't want to say the team in case I'm wrong because I forgot to fact check it. But next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Anyways, I think there's something else that's been going on.
Yeah, what goes on in March? I can't remember what happens in March.
March Madness. That was so cheesy. I literally hated that so much. Hot takes from the first 4 games. Well, actually, real quick, we'll have Sam introduce himself.
Yeah, so I'm Sam. I love March Madness, so I came to talk about March Madness. I love basketball. Mostly, I love LeBron James. So LeBron kind of makes me fall in love with the rest of basketball, but it's really just LeBron. I love baseball. Baseball is the sport I played growing up, and the Cubs, like I said, are my team. I'm kind of nerdy, so I like Star Wars, and then I also like video games, and specifically Mario video games. Give me a Nintendo, and I'll slay anyone in Mario Kart in any Mario game. Smash Bros. I'm not very good at, but Mario Kart, if it has Mario in the title,
wait,
you're done.
Best place you've gone in Rainbow Road?
Best place? I get first place literally every time eyes closed.
Okay, not playing Mario Kart. Eyes closed?
Eyes closed on any of them. Give me N64, Wii U, DS, any of them. I can do eyes closed tomorrow. Rainbow Road.
I also heard a rumor that you're pretty good at Just Dance.
Oh, I am. I do. I dabble. I dabble in Just Dance. So.
Best Just Dance routine.
This is tough because I like me a good old YMCA because there's 4 dancers. Everyone has their little unique role. Yeah. So that's the move. YMCA.
Do you have a favorite solo one?
Solo one. So I grew up with like Just Dance 2015, and I think the best one on Just Dance 2015 is called "I Love It." I don't care.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
love
one.
it. It's a good song. It's a good song. And it's fun dance. So
Do you have that like
100%
routine?
perfect.
Okay.
I got it like 5 stars, no doubt in my mind. No one has ever been able to beat me. So
I think we should go and share our most embarrassing Just Dance moment.
Ooh, I don't even know. I feel like every time I do Just Dance is an embarrassing moment.
No.
happens. Yeah. So one time I planned a date to play Just Dance, and something didn't work out. So we literally had to go to the community center to go play Just Dance, like and they had like a video game room.
Yeah.
So like I show up to the community center, and there's like all these kids from my school that are like playing, Call of Duty, killing zombies, and I'm just there like with a date. It was a double date, so there's 4 of us. And I'm just like, we're doing this. Like we literally have to do this. So we were just playing Just Dance, and everyone's looking at us like we're idiots. But I actually had a great time. So I was not embarrassed. So
Okay, but like outside looking in, they might have thought it was an
right.
embarrassing moment. I respect it. Mine, hate to say it, I was at a stake for like a church activity, and we had like a little dance party out in the parking lot. Got a little too crazy. They put on what is that? It's a One Direction song.
I know you're beautiful.
Best song ever?
Best song ever, yeah.
Yeah, so that chorus did me dirty, and I ended up rolling. I think
no.
I did more than rolling my ankle, but I am a broke college student, so I didn't want to go to the doctor. So I just went to the store, grabbed a little cast, and put it on, and one of my neighbors was like, I think you need more. And so he's like, my roommate had crutches, so she's like, you can use crutches. Taking freaking crutches up to campus with a dinky little cast on, so dumb. And then a neighbor's like, no, you need one of those scooters.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm literally rocking on BYU campus in a freaking scooter.
That's not embarrassing. That's like.
Well, I was a peer
Flex.
mentor.
Oh.
And one of my students saw me and sent me a text and was like, "Did I just see you on a scooter for people who like have like leg issues?" And I was like, no comment. So anyways, a little PTSD with One Direction, but it is what it is.
Still fun.
Yeah.
Still fun.
But we did not come here to talk about Just Dance. I kind of scrolled it.
No, all good.
But we can just like dive into March Madness.
March Madness.
What are your hot takes?
Okay.
Who do you have winning it all?
Okay, I definitely think Duke is gonna win it all. That has only been like before the tournament, like months ago. Every like February, I'm like, okay, now I need to look at the teams. Who am I gonna pick to win it? By the way, this never works out. I've literally done brackets for 12 years. One time have I gotten the champion right, and that was last year. So like I was like 0 for 11. So UConn,
Okay,
and
sure.
I guessed them to win and got it right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this year I was like Duke all the way.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg is a generational talent. He's the best player on Duke. He's gonna be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. So he did, and that I was like devastated because for a whole month I'm like Duke all the way, and then he gets injured, and I'm like, my entire everything is gone.
Is he still gonna be the?
But he came back.
Okay.
He's played in the first 2 games of the tournament,
Okay.
and they've looked phenomenal. They look super good. Florida's the other team that I have them beating Florida in the championship, and Florida's the other most popular team that people
That's
are
true.
picking, and they just barely beat UConn, like by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
And UConn's not great this year, like, so I'm even more confident now than I was, before the first 2 games of the tournament that Duke is gonna win it all. So that's who I think is gonna win it all.
Do you think they're still gonna match up against Florida?
I am kind of doubtful of that now. Like, Florida's got to show me something in the Sweet 16 for me to be more confident that they're gonna make it. But we'll see.
So Florida? Question mark? Just
No.
Just kidding.
No, we're not cheering
Go.
for Florida. Well, we're not cheering for Duke either, honestly. Gator, yeah, it's the Gators.
Okay.
Gators and then Blue Devils is Duke. But who do you guys have winning it all?
Well, it depends on which bracket. One of them I do have Alabama, much to Courtney's demise. But the one in my apartment, I had St. John's, which was not. And I just was like, they feel like a good Cinderella story.
Ugh.
They spoke to my soul. But Arkansas just came in and crushed those dreams. Which makes me sad because they also beat Kansas, and I love Kansas. So I was like, well, guess my brackets are just toast. I think I wanted to put Duke, but after Cooper Flagg got injured, I was like, oh, I just don't know if I can trust them to like win. But I have watching Duke. I've learned about what is his last name? Their I think he's like the Rudy of their team.
Is it like?
He's like 5'8". He comes in at the very end. I can't remember his name, but
I'm not aware of who that is. But...
I want to say his last name was like Hubbard or something, but I like read an article on him and he got emotional. So I'm kind of cheering for Duke now, just because Rudy's one of my favorite movies. So I'm like, I feel like
Rudy is a phenomenal movie.
I feel like he's kind of the same energy as that. So
I like it. Courtney, who you got?
Well, I've got Tennessee for one of them. My Tennessee, the bracket of Tennessee winning is definitely my best bracket so far. I think it would be fun, but if they do win, I do have them playing BYU. So that's kind of an iffy situation. But then I do also have BYU going all the way. Which, hot take, I understand. I've heard it all. I hear it all at work. I have so much faith in this BYU team.
They looked good. They looked good.
I'm sorry to anybody who might like this person. Kevin Young has done so much more for BYU than Mark Pope has. You know?
It's true.
And I know it's not all about the coaches. There were some iffy calls in my biased opinion on yesterday, actually, on Saturday, that I don't agree with, but we still won the game, so like can't be too mad about it. All of our players gonna play again on Thursday.
Yep, Thursday.
I know we can beat Alabama, and I'm really hoping I am not gonna have to take those words back. There's something special cooking up. There's a lot of talk. I know it's not a scripted tournament, but if it was, don't sleep on the Cougs.
No, we're looking good. We've looked good the last couple games. So
I'm a very hopeful Cougar fan. So I'd say that's my hot take. Not really, just who I have winning.
Yeah, for sure. So cool thing that we've all mentioned these three teams. So there's three teams in the Sweet 16, which is like basically 1/5 of the Sweet 16, that are all tied together by the coaches. So okay, it all happened because last year, some guy named Mike or whatever Golke on Oakland went crazy and beat Kentucky.
Yeah,
okay,
I remember that.
So Kentucky's like, we don't want John Calipari as our coach anymore. They fire him. He goes. Guess where he goes? To Arkansas.
I was gonna say he looked familiar.
Literally
I was like
goes
looking
to
at
Arkansas.
him and I was like, how do I know him?
Okay, so then that opens up the Kentucky job. So then Mark Pope's like, peace, BYU. I'm going to Kentucky. So then that opens up the BYU job.
Which is his alma mater.
Right.
Too.
He should have gone.
Just in case.
He 100% should have gone.
I'm mad at him, but like,
No,
he should have gone. I don't want him anyways. Sorry.
And then
Mark
Kevin Young goes
comes
to
from the
BYU.
Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes from the Suns, from the NBA to the BYU. All three of those teams are so much happier with where they are now than they were where they were last year. Because Kentucky in the Sweet 16, Arkansas in the Sweet 16, BYU in the Sweet 16. Kind of a cool thing.
That's actually
Three different schools, three different coaches, all tied together.
That's sick.
And they're all in the Sweet 16, and they're all happier now than they were last year. Kind of cool.
Wait, so it's BYU, Kentucky,
And Arkansas. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of weird thing that the fates of all these teams are kind of connected together, and they are happy that where they are right now. So kind of cool thing about sports, about basketball, about March Madness. It's crazy. You never know what's gonna happen.
It's one big happy dysfunctional family.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
I feel like it's kind of cool because it kind of just shows like how much coaching does play an effect. Like it isn't all just players. Like obviously players are huge, but like how they're coached makes just such a big difference. Like I mean we've seen that definitely with BYU. Like
100%.
We had some amazing players last year that could have gotten us far, but didn't quite work out. And this year, we've had some great chemistry with Kevin Young, and he's brought them a lot farther than we could. So kind of cool.
Can I just say I don't want to say purest or like tender, but like the sweetest thing I saw on social media after, and I don't know why, but there was a video. It was BYU. They posted it. It was Kevin Young running to his family.
Yes.
To go give them a hug.
100%. So awesome.
I was like, what?
So awesome.
So fun.
No, I went to the airport last night, 1:30 a.m.
Okay, yes.
to go greet the team, and Kevin Young was the last person that came out, and he came with his little sons. And it was like the cutest thing in the world, and I was just like, I'm so glad this and you see like Kevin Young seems so happy. I'm like, I'm so glad this guy's happy because he's brought BYU fans so much happiness, and like his kids seemed happy, and like his kids were like living in the moment because there's all these people at the airport and they're like, yeah, they're there for us. No, I mean, but we are. We're Kevin Young's part of our family now. So.
Was there a lot of people?
Yeah, no, there was about probably 100, 200 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you welcome the Switch football real quick when we beat Utah?
I did not go, but that was because I knew there was going to be 2 million people there, and I was not.
It was just under 2 million.
I went when we beat UCF.
Okay.
To the airport when there was also like about 200 people. So it's always I want to go. I just want to touch the players. You know what I mean? I just want to see them. I want to make them know I appreciate it.
There were more fans than what you saw.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's always a fun time. So I got a couple things that I want to talk about with March Madness that infuriate me at this time of year. Okay, and it's all about the brackets. Okay. Some of the most unintelligent conversation I've ever heard comes around these stupid brackets, okay? Everyone's like, this time of year, March Madness, and then they're like, how's your bracket doing? And everyone's like, my bracket. Like, have you ever heard someone that's like, oh, my bracket's incredible. My bracket's doing awesome. I mean, it happens sometimes. But everyone's like, oh, bracket's busted. Yeah. The bracket is busted. I'm like, if every single person is saying their bracket is busted, what does a not busted bracket look like? If every single person, my bracket's busted, okay? It drives me crazy. If you are in the 90th percentile on ESPN, it'll show you the percentile of where you are. Mm-hmm. Like you do not have permission.
No.
You cannot say that word. You cannot say busted. You cannot say it. Okay? It's against the rules. Because there has to be some kind of bracket that's not perfect, but it's also not busted, okay? It just has to exist, okay? That's number one. Please, when you're talking about brackets, not everyone's bracket can be busted, okay?
What is the lowest percentile?
Even if you're in the 75th percentile, that is not a busted bracket. Like that.
I don't have a busted bracket.
Yeah, no, I'm in the 20th percentile.
Okay,
so, mine.
Kendall, you have the permission of me to say my bracket's toast, especially the St. John's one. Like that is a toast bracket. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here's the second thing. This obsession. I don't know who started it, but ESPN literally will post after every single game. 3 perfect brackets remaining. 2, and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Do you guys know how many possible, how many permutations of the bracket there are? Like, how many, different brackets you could actually design?
4.9 quintillion.
It is double that. 9.2 quintillion. Quintillion. It's literally, millions of millions of millions. Quintillion.
I think it's 18 zeros.
Yeah. I think it's 10 to the 19th or 10 to the 20th or something like that. Anyway, that's how many permutations we're talking about. So when everyone's like, "Oh, there's one perfect bracket," I'm like, "Update me in the final 4 if there's a perfect bracket." I don't care about it right now because guess what? It literally is so far away from being I don't care about it. Okay. The other thing, for the first game ends right, and ESPN is rushing to Twitter or whatever, and they're like. 40% of the brackets are now not perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that literally makes sense. Checks out. It was anywhere between 40 and 60%, checks out, Yeah. So, okay. So say someone misses the first game. They get the first game wrong. Yeah. And then they get every other game right. And then reverse it on its head. Say one person gets every game right until the last game. And it's there's one perfect bracket remaining. And then they get the last guess wrong. Which one's more impressive? The one that literally missed the first bracket and was counted out at the very start. You know what I mean? So this obsession with the perfect, I mean, obviously, no one's ever going to get it. It's never going to happen. But this obsession with keeping track of the brackets that are perfect, but not keeping track of brackets that are really good, that are oh, they've got all their Elite 8 teams still alive. They have all their Sweet 16 teams still alive. That is actually what matters. Yeah. So the two ideas are tied together. If you tell me your bracket is busted, one of your Final 4 teams has to be gone in the first day, okay? For you to tell me your bracket is busted. Because if your Final 4 teams are still intact, you can get so many points. Because people don't understand the scoring system. Every round is worth 320 points, okay? So the first round is worth 320 points. Okay, so every game is worth 10 points because there's 32 games. Yeah. Then the second round, there's 16 games. So there's 20 points. They're worth 20 points. But if you get the champion right, there's one game. You get 320 points for getting the champion right? So it matters so much more that your champion just keeps on winning
Yeah.
than if one first round game you get wrong because it was a 12-5 upset and you didn't see it coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that just drive me crazy when people are talking about their brackets, because I'm just like, just think about it for 2 seconds. If your champion is still alive, you can get 300. It's the exact same as if you got perfect first round for getting one guess right for the champion.
That's true.
So I just want public service announcement to everyone. Just when you're talking about brackets, have intelligent conversations about it. Talk about, is your champion still alive? Is your Final Four still alive? Like, how many teams in the Elite Eight are still alive? If it's 7 out of 8, oh my gosh, you can get so many points. There's so many points left for you on the table. So anyway, that is my rant. I just want people to understand, like, we're talking about 9.2 quintillion options here. And if you have 4 of 4 Final Four teams, that is like one of the most impressive things you could ever do. I've never met anyone that's actually done that. If you have 4 out of 4 Final Four teams, that's what we should be talking about. Not like how many perfect brackets are remaining after 2 days, because the last person that had a perfect bracket could get every single one wrong from now on, and it'd be literally a 20th percentile bracket because they literally got 320 points maybe at this point. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. That's what I wanted to say. Everyone does brackets. I want everyone to understand the brackets now, because everyone does them. So everyone should understand what you're doing and understand that these first round games make very little, like, it's not very important, except if, like, your champion loses, like St. John's. I'm sorry about that. That's a bummer. You have my permission to say my bracket is busted. It's horrible. Anyway.
Maybe we should just start asking your Final Four intact.
There we go. That I love that. Like, can we have that? Can that be like just a general rule of thumb?
We'll start doing it.
I love it. I love it. Just hey, a couple people at a time. We'll get a chain going.
Be in the world, not of.
I love it. I love it. Hopefully you learned something new today.
Yeah, actually. You warned us about a rant.
Yeah, I mean, I had it coming. I had to get off my chest.
Nope.
It drives me crazy.
That's what it's for.
It literally drives me crazy. I can't stand it. But
No, I agree.
That being said, hopefully there's a ton of more fun games. Hopefully Duke and Florida meet in the championship for my sake, because then I will never have to say my bracket is busted ever if my 2 champions make it.
That's true.
So, good time.
Go Vols and go Cougs.
Go Vols and go. Well, no, go Cougs for sure.
We have it.
I did say it. I
we
did
have
say
it in
it.
the mic.
I can't believe I said that. Remember when Ohio State destroyed Tennessee in college football playoff? Anyway,
we're talking about
I'm from
basketball.
Ohio.
We're talking about basketball. Just kidding.
Ohio State basketball stinks. That is true. And Tennessee basketball is good. So.
I thought you were gonna say they stink too. I was like,
No, they're way good. No, they're way good.
16.
No, they're way good. They can make it Final Four easily.
Make a final. Just kidding.
So I guess kind of transition. So we talked a lot about like college basketball. I think we talked about a little bit this earlier, talking about like college basketball, and then we have the NBA. And I heard some commentators, they were talking about coaching, but I feel like it still kind of is the same. Or it's kind of like the difference between college and NBA is kind of like speaking Spanish and speaking Portuguese, which I thought was cool because I speak Spanish. But I was like, that's kind of a cool, because like you can understand each other a lot, but there are such like big key differences. Where maybe like for some of those that don't understand, like they're like, oh, basketball is basketball. Like what are some things they could look at and be like, wait, that's more of an NBA thing, and that's more of a like college basketball thing.
Yeah, so the one huge difference, and it's funny because I got done with watching all the college basketball games yesterday, and then I turned on the LeBron game. LeBron's back from his injury, guys. It was a long 2 weeks. I can't believe I survived it. But LeBron came back.
You can do hard things.
I know, I did it. LeBron came back, so I'm like, I'm watching this game, and I'm watching the NBA after watching like 40 college games, right? And I'm just like shocked at like, because it is different. It's like Portuguese. And so I think that one of the biggest differences is, well, first of all, the skill level of these guys. Like, we're talking like one player on every NCAA team maybe makes the NBA, right? So like the skill is just so much higher. The other thing that's huge is the 3-point line in the NBA it goes way further out, like especially at the top of the key.
Yeah.
So what that does is it spreads out everyone. Like, so instead of standing, if your toes are at the 3-point line in college, you're still pretty close to the people around you.
Yeah.
If your toes are standing at the 3-point line in the NBA, there's a lot more space. And like I think one thing like as BYU fans, like we've noticed about Yegor Demon, like when we weren't playing Big 12 teams, that guy was getting passes off that were like awesome.
Yeah.
And then he tried the same thing in the Big 12. And it's not a huge difference in the athletes,
No.
but the tiniest margins, the tiniest amount of space changes everything. So then he starts turning the ball over a ton in the Big 12 compared to when we were playing weaker competition non-conference at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So like you like it's exponential how much like the space makes it easier to pass the ball, makes it easier to shoot the ball. So the NBA, just that little, I think it's only like 5 feet behind the college 3-point line, maybe even less than that. But that much, it's a far shot. Like a lot of people like it's funny because like they do like 3-point shooting contests during games.
Yeah.
Like when they do them during NBA games, like people can't even make it from the 3-point line because it's much further away. That space changes the game entirely because that space makes it so that you can't. So say someone drives the ball to the rim. In college, there's always a couple guys that meet him. You know what I mean? It's the double team. There's someone that's already there. In the NBA, they have to spread out so much, and the guys are so skilled, and all of them can shoot threes. So when they drive down the middle, there's no one there. So that's why they're dunking the ball. That's why you see some of the craziest athleticism that you've ever seen in the NBA. It's because the court is literally different. Like the court is different with the 3-point line, and the skill of the guys is different. So you have to guard them a certain way. So there's so much more space, and that's why it's like Portuguese and Spanish, because it's the same game. Like you still have to shoot the ball, you still have to make threes, you still have to play defense, you still have to keep the ball in front of you. But just that little difference of more space court changes it so drastically that it's just a different game.
Demon's been practicing from the logo, which is essentially the 3.
Yes, that is why Yegor Demon does that, because he knows
he can't leave.
Oh, I wish he stays.
Oh, I was like,
no, AJ DeBonsa and Yegor Demon.
I'm hoping AJ convinces him to stay.
That would be crazy.
AJ has said this to other people. I'm not close with AJ. Don't even know him. He has said that he is trying to, like, when he comes to games and stuff, he, like, talks to Richie and Yegor. He's like, hey, like, we could ball it out next year. So I'm like, King Todd, I think that's what we're calling Richie now.
Yeah, Tater Tot.
Needs to stay.
It's true.
That's actually crazy.
So and one thing, so Kevin Young's an NBA coach, right? So he likes the space. He likes space.
Yes.
So one thing you'll notice is like our big guys, Keba Keita, Fousseyni Traore. I love that man, by the way. Fousseyni Traore, literally.
The nicest guy ever.
I literally
We'll
cry.
send this podcast to him.
I literally cry thinking about him. Anyway, they don't shoot. They don't shoot threes. Like literally, Foose has shot a couple, and he actually made a couple. Like I'm not gonna lie, Foose, you should shoot more. No, I'm kidding. But even though they don't shoot, Kevin Young will put them behind the 3-point line because he wants the space. He doesn't want them down there. So because if they're down there, then their defender's down there, and then when someone drives the ball, there's gonna be 2 defenders there. Yeah. So that's why he always has them at the top of the key, handing it off to like setting screens, handing it off because that space is at the floor too. Because and so that's what Kevin Young has done. That's why we score so much. That's literally why BYU scores so much is because we space the floor. The other thing, we always have 2 shooters in the corner, and that also spaces the floor. Like it's all about space. When you're watching the game, just think about like when you watch a different game other than BYU. Think about how much space the guys have to work with. And then you watch BYU, they have so much more space because of the way Kevin Young sets up his players. And like you said, Yegor Demon is shooting the threes from NBA range because it gives him space. It gives it's so much easier to shoot, to pass when you have space, when you don't have guard or defenders guarding you super close. But that's the big difference between NBA and college.
Who would have thought?
That does I feel like that does make a lot more sense. Like I was talking to my brother and I was like kind of talking about the differences. He's like the NBA is just a lot more offense focused, probably because of that space.
Yeah, 100%.
More difficult to defend.
Oh yeah, no, it's like nowadays in the NBA, it is literally impossible to have like great defenses because of the skill and the space that is created by the skill of these players. Like it's crazy. But hopefully we won't have to watch any of our BYU players in the NBA because Yegor will stay.
Or at least
just one more year. I mean, AJ's definitely gonna be one and done. Yeah. But that doesn't mean Yegor has to be one and done. So like.
And I feel like Cannon's gonna stay.
Cannon might transfer. I should cut that actually.
Bleep it. No. Sam.
I think
don't
he'll
know.
want to stay to
I don't
play with
know.
AJ.
I don't know.
That's my opinion. I think because he was injured, he didn't get to participate as much as he wanted, and he.
No, for sure. And I'm not saying that is the reason. I don't know.
As long as he doesn't try and go to that new NBA college coach.
Okay, no, he would not do that. No, Camden's not doing that. Camden's not doing that. By the way, let's talk about those freaking copycats, Utah. Just trying to copycat us. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
They're so silly.
Have you met them?
They
Copy
just
and paste,
Hey,
copy
he's
and
my
paste.
he's my cousin, Alex Jensen. No, I'm kidding. My name's Sam Jensen. No. I just joke about that. He has my last
I
name.
probably look like I saw a ghost.
No. Alex Jensen, but he's not. I mean, he probably fifth cousin or something like that. But he does have my last name. But I'm not rooting for him. That doesn't mean I'm rooting for him.
Okay, Sam, this is a one and done debut of
Oh.
Sam. Just kidding.
But
He's wearing a blue tie, but he goes for the red
hey, the
team.
blue tie is for BYU, 100%. I never wear red ties. So actually, I did after Ohio State won, but
You know how we have a no red week when we
Mhm.
play Utah?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm doing this for myself because I don't have the authority to do it for other people. No red week this week because we play Alabama.
that's true.
No, nothing.
Good thing my scrubs are all black, so I don't have to worry about it.
Heck yeah. You know the best part about if we beat Alabama?
When we beat Alabama.
If we beat Alabama, I'm not on the record.
You said when.
No. I'm not on the record. If we happen to beat Alabama, which would be awesome, I would love that. The best part about it is that we would get to play Duke, who when AJ DeBonsa chose BYU, Stephen A. Smith was like, "Well, I thought you were gonna go to North Carolina so you could play Duke," and AJ goes, "Well, I can't play Duke at BYU." What if it was a prophecy?
No, they all looked in that interview. They're like, oh, like.
He got him. No, he got him good. And what if it was like a prophecy?
Like,
AJ saw that we would be playing them in the Elite Eight, and then we end up playing Duke in the Elite Eight. That would be crazy. And we would get shellacked. I mean,
no, and then we would beat them because we have AJ.
I mean, we don't have
Not
AJ.
this
That's
year.
the issue.
Cooper Flag
Next year we'll be
demolish us.
yeah.
I actually
He's like committed to BYU though.
Well, he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he would show up to that game. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot the stat. 34 points.
Yep.
This is probably AJ's
In his last game, yep. 34 he dropped.
I did not mean to cut you
I'm
off.
gonna say, you know what? This is just me thinking out loud. Cooper Flag gets drafted to the Jazz. He talks to AJ. Just teaches AJ a lot of cool things, and I don't know, from one cool cat to another.
I will say the Jazz are definitely one of the teams trying to tank. They're tanking big time.
It's so
They're
awesome.
losing.
yeah.
They're
I went
losing
to some of their games this week.
big time. I can't believe people still go to the
I
the
went
games
to
are
go
packed.
Well,
so
they're $5.
No. I'm
I
not.
cheered for the Raptors and I cheered for the Celtics when I went.
Yeah. No, but like the games are packed still. But like they're clearly trying to lose
It's so
to get
bad.
Cooper
It's
Flag.
rough.
And even though this is mean of me to say, I don't cheer for the Jazz. I kind of root for their misery. I will say I hope they do get Cooper Flag
Yeah.
because they need something going for them. And they have never had a player like Cooper Flag would be the best player to ever play for the Jazz.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, better than John Stockton and better than he could be better than John Stockton.
We gotta wait a few.
Yeah, they got
in transition.
No, for sure.
See if you
for
can
sure.
handle the space.
For sure.
I just had something pop into my brain. Doesn't happen a lot. No, just kidding. We talked about this positive self-talk today. Anyways, we might be cutting that out if we don't. Whatever. Joe Ingles
Yeah.
started.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Saturday or Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday. It was the first time his son saw him like start.
Yeah.
So
Super special. It was super special. You know, Joe Ingles definitely not a starting caliber player anymore.
No.
He used
He
to be.
was.
He
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
awesome. No, but his coach did him a solid.
Yeah.
I loved what his coach said. Like sometimes, like we're humans, and like sometimes it's bigger than basketball. And like
It
that
is bigger.
moment was so tender and so much bigger than basketball. Seeing his son watch Joe Ingles start. It was. I actually do not remember. But like we said, that's
I'm,
big.
like,
It's,
whispering about
sometimes
it.
it's bigger than basketball.
No,
Like
yeah.
it actually didn't matter if they won or lost
No, he
because
still saw his dad play. Start.
Yep, it was super
And
cool.
play.
I want the NBA to focus more on that. I feel like the NBA needs some work in marketing and just kind of how it's run. I'm a big NFL fan, And I feel like the NFL has kind of taken a different shift and stuff, and they've talked a lot about like it's bigger than football, like expanding, and I feel like it's brought a lot of positivity to the NFL, and I feel like the NBA could use a little bit more of that.
No, it definitely needs some positivity. There's a lot of hate when it comes to the NBA. So
Yeah. If you were the NBA commissioner, what are you doing to change things?
well, one thing
I
talking
thought you
about
were gonna say, "Well, I am." I was
speaking
like, whoa.
speaking of space. So if you so the college 3-point line is a perfect arc. Every spot on the college 3-point line is the exact distance from to the rim that every other point is, right? The NBA, because it's stretched back, it's actually not an arc. There's a break in it. So there's an arc, and then it stops being an arc, and it's a straight line. So it's parallel with the out of bounds. Okay, so that makes it so that the 3-pointer in the corner is like way shorter than the 3-pointer at the top of the key.
That's
like
why you'll see NBA players shoot more in the
Oh,
corner.
that's
so the corner threes are big time. So honestly, there's too much space in the NBA. We've been talking about space all podcast. There's actually too much space in the NBA, and that's why scores have gone way up, and the 3-point attempts have gone way up. So what I would do if I was commissioner, I would make the arc a true arc, so it did not. So the corner 3 would not exist, and I would be fascinated with how teams would approach it. Would they still put guys in the corner, even though it's a 2-point shot, not a 3-point shot anymore? I don't know, and I'd be fascinated to see. Like, honestly, just like the problem solving aspect of it would be more fascinating than, and it would probably make the game a little bit worse temporarily. But I think in the long run, it would help out because there's a lot of 3-point shooters and a lot of 3-point shots that are probably bad shots, and maybe it would incentivize guys to go dunk the ball more, which is way more exciting in my opinion.
More in the paint.
Yeah, more in the paint. So that's what I would do. I would make the corner 3-pointer non-existent. Just because I love LeBron and I want him to have the scoring record forever, I would shorten the NBA season so there's less games so that players have less opportunities to score more points than LeBron. I would 100% do that. But also, I think they need less games. Like 82 games is a lot of games. You know what I mean?
That's every team twice?
No. So it's every team twice. The teams in your conference, like in the Western Conference, 3 times, and then the teams in your division 4 times.
Oh, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So like if they did like 72 games, it would be a lot easier.
How many teams are there?
There's 30.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like less games,
Yeah.
but like I said, mostly for LeBron, so he can keep the record.
LeBron, I love you.
Adam Silver also said he wants to shorten like the quarter. So right now it's 4 12-minute quarters, so it's 48 minutes. Adam Silver, he's the commissioner now. He wants to do 10-minute quarters, 4 10-minute. Yeah, so it's 40 minutes, which is the exact time of a college basketball game and the exact time of like FIBA, like Olympic basketball.
True.
And I also love that because also LeBron would keep the scoring record. Just saying. So anyway, this is why I could not be the commissioner because all of my ideas are just to prop up LeBron.
You'd like see LeBron and you'd be like, "Ah, Sam, my guy."
Hey, if I ever get to that moment, that will be when I made it.
Can we still have you on the podcast?
Huh?
Can we still have you on the podcast?
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
Perfect.
No, I'd still be here.
Perfect.
I feel like those are very valid. Personally, I'm more of an MJ fan.
Oh no, we're gonna have to end it right here.
All right, thanks for watching.
I don't know. I feel like I agree with those though, because I feel like there are just too many games, and it makes it tricky to like follow up. Like if you have the time to like watch it, it's great. But sometimes it's tricky because there are just so many games. Like I get score updates for the Trailblazers, for the Raptors, and the Jazz still, even though I don't like them. And I get like 3 a day.
It's crazy. They literally play like every other day. Like
Yeah, like it's insane. So I do feel like less games would be good. And kind of going back to the, like I said, kind of thinking about like football and stuff. One of the reasons it's easier to like get more into like the hype of it all, I feel like, is because there are less games, so you get more excited for it. And I feel like the NBA could really use that because I feel like their viewership just isn't as high as it could be.
You know, there's no like sense of urgency. Like the best thing about March Madness is that there's a sense of urgency. Like every single game matters.
Yeah.
In basketball, because there's 82 games, no game matters almost. Like it's literally like almost no game matters. Whereas in college basketball, in the NFL, single elimination, every game matters. So limiting the amount of games in the NBA would help make it more more urgency. There's more sense of urgency with every game because there's less games to mess around with. So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully, I love the NBA. The NBA playoffs are gonna be great. You guys better have me on for the NBA playoff preview.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, It's gonna be a lot of LeBron, but no, I'm kidding. I actually would. I would like to.
No,
you know.
that's okay. We can do that.
I mean, LeBron's gonna win the finals, so we might as well talk about LeBron. You know.
I'm delusional.
Hey,
Just
says the
kidding.
person that has BYU winning it all. My goodness.
Timestamp this one for when they do win.
Hey, I would gladly be proven wrong on this.
I'm just coming with random questions. I don't know. Wait, Carl, how long have we been recording?
40 minutes.
Okay, so
You're chill on
oh,
time.
perfect.
Yeah.
I lose track of time.
No,
I really do. I'm like, it feels like it's been 5 minutes. Random question for everybody. What is your earliest? I'm gonna say like NCAA/NBA game, like memory of a game.
you know.
So, my first one, at least one that I can remember, is actually going and seeing Jimmer. So, I lived in Oregon when I was younger, and we moved when I was about 9, and then we started going to games, and I remember going to a game, I think it was for my 12th birthday, and it was right around the Jimmer time, and it was just, I remember seeing him, and I was like, oh my gosh, Jimmer Fredette is the greatest player to have ever existed, like, being able to see him play in person, and that's probably, like, the first game. I think I maybe went to one or two before, but, like, being able to watch Jimmer, I think they played the Lobos. I can't remember. I think it's New Mexico.
Yep.
I think it was New Mexico. We beat them. We got to play the victory bells, and it was just like, I was like, this is the greatest birthday ever, and so I think for me, that was probably my first NCAA, like BYU. That's when I was converted. Growing up in Oregon, I was a Oregon Ducks fan. It was a big rivalry. It was a big rivalry in my house. I was Ducks. Some of my siblings were Beavers. But then coming to Utah.
My grandpa taught at Oregon State, so I am 100% Beavers.
Yeah, now we're going to need to cut this.
Yeah, no, me and Kendall are about to like fight each other.
Yeah,
Right.
we have some differing
Gotta swap.
opinions. I'll be cordial. But yeah, so it was kind of fun. I think NBA, I remember like when we came to Utah, we were Trailblazers fans, and then we would go to a bunch of the Jazz Trailblazers games, and then my dad started watching more of the Jazz. He doesn't hate that I love the Raptors. He's kind of just like, it's kind of random, but okay. But, well, the story behind it's kind of funny. But that's for another time. But, I just remember, like, watching those games, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, basketball's the best. And then I kind of just loved basketball since, so.
That's pretty cool. As a surprise to no one, my first basketball memory is LeBron James. Wait,
is he your favorite player?
He is actually. I don't know how you guessed that. So in 2009, he was playing the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals, in the semifinals, and they were down. They lost the first game, so they needed to win the second game. And he hits a buzzer beater, down by 2, hits a buzzer beating 3. There's 1 second left. He shoots it, makes it, wins the game. And I remember seeing that on my TV. I was living in Okinawa, Japan at the time. Like I didn't watch the game live, but I remember like watching SportsCenter and like that highlight, and I watched it like 5 times, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, for him to, like, win the game at the last second was, like, the coolest thing to me. So then, like, I went in my driveway, and I just, like, literally practiced that shot a million times of LeBron. So that was my first NBA memory. My first NCAA memory. Like, my parents did not raise me to like sports, so, like, I learned everything kind of by myself.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I was handed a bracket. And it, like, so I like, it was a printed paper, you know, in the bus, 5th grade or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it, and it just says like NCAA bracket. It doesn't even say basketball. So like I understood the concept of a bracket, but I was like, what sport is this? Like I didn't even know what sport it was.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's like the kid who he was like, it's basketball. Like you've never done this before, and I'm like, I'm clueless. Like I lived in Japan. Like it was not a thing in Japan to do March Madness. So anyway, so then the next year was 2011. So that was when Jimmer came around. So I remember watching against Florida when the last time BYU was in the Sweet 16 against Florida, and Jimmer hit a super long shot. It was 63-60. Jimmer hits the shot, ties it at 63. It goes to overtime, and then we lost by like 10 in overtime. It wasn't even competitive. But like, I was so hurt. Like, I was like, I could not even, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe Jimmer's career is over. Like, just like the finality of it all, like, really is what, like, I came away with.
Yeah.
And like that's when I fell in love with March Madness. Was like, well, I mean, I fell in hate with it because I was like, this is so hard to watch. But like the you know the everything's on the line mentality and like the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Like I mean, even yesterday the BYU game, like like right away it showed the little Wisconsin like kids and they're crying and it's like, oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. And like literally, if the one guy makes the shot, it would literally pan to BYU fans, and they'd be crying. Like, it literally comes down to these smallest moments in the world. And just, like, the emotions that one can feel just by someone making a shot is kind of incredible. It's ludicrous, first of all. Like, why do we care so much? Like, it's literally just basketball. But also, we care so much. Like, everyone cares so much. And that's what I love about basketball. That's what I love about sports. That's what I love about competition. So.
But it's a metaphor for life.
No, for sure.
We've never done a metaphor for life on here. But here we go. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Or however that quote goes.
Yeah, no,
it's a hockey quote, so I'm ashamed. But you know, like, one shot could literally change your life. So, shoot your shot. If you miss, keep shooting. I had someone once say, you know, Courtney, if you aim for the stars, you'll land on the moon. If you aim for the moon, you're just in air. And I was like, I'm still trying to figure out what that means, but it sounded poetic.
I feel like sports definitely teaches you a lot of character and a lot of life lessons. I feel like, I mean, I've had my heart broken by a lot of boys, but I feel like sports has almost broken it more.
Oh.
So.
No contest. Sports. I mean, every year there's a new season, and every year every other team except one loses. Yeah. So I mean, sports is literally every year. Just mark the calendars when you're going to get your heart broken, most likely. So
sports is for everyone.
I agree.
Game 5 of the World Series. No, that was a rough heartbreak.
Oof. What is it? 5th inning?
As a Yankees fan, I remember watching it. I think I can't remember if that was the game I was watching at a BYU basketball game. I was like, watch them both. This is great. And I was like, this game's going great. And then, like, that inning happened, and I was like, okay.
No, but baseball's the worst because it's like the games are so long and so drawn out, and, like, the pressure's on all the time. Baseball's. Yeah. I lost a few years of my life watching the World Series in 2016 when the Cubs won.
I'm going to go gray early because of sports. And when, like, I'll have kids, and I'll be like, oh, it's whatever. Like, sports are what are going to make me go gray.
It's true.
That's fair.
Good thing I can just keep dying like her. No, I'm going to go in cardiac arrest at a game one of these days. I just know it.
Yeah, it happens. I hear.
Hey, but at least we feel something instead of nothing.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Whenever sports comes around, it's like, at least I can feel, and my heart does work. I can feel it pumping out of my chest sometimes. So it's nice to have the reminder.
That's fair. What would you do without sports?
Cry.
That's what we do with sports, too.
Yeah, it's true. But, yeah, if you want to build character, just be a sports fan.
It's true.
That is so true.
That's why my kids will all be sports fans.
I don't care. Do your homework later.
You will watch the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
I'm done.
That's crazy.
So sign up if you want to be my... Just kidding.
Okay, well...
I think it's time to wrap up.
Is there any final thoughts?
Go Cougs. I feel bad. I was a little bit skeptical about the Cougs. My official prediction is we're not going to win. But that doesn't mean I'm not cheering for them. And if they win the national championship, I will gladly take all the crow in the entire world because I will be so happy. I could not care less that I was wrong about our prediction. So, anyway, go Cougs.
And if I'm wrong, I will cry. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, it should be a good week with round...
It's Sweet 16, so it's the third round, yeah.
And then the Elite 8.
Round 3. I almost said the wrong thing. Go Cougs. Just kidding. But any final thoughts? No?
Nope.
No.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Sam, for joining us.
No problem.
Next week, we will be talking about hockey. And we'll give you March Madness updates as well, because it's still March, and we're still mad about it. Just kidding. Never have I ever said that. But stay tuned, and honestly, let us know how your bracket's doing.
Is it actually busted?
Don't you dare. If it's in the 90th percentile, I don't want to hear it.
70th?
70th, you can tell me your bracket's busted.
If you're-
I don't want to.
I'll call you out on it, but
If you're with me in the 20th percentile, you can
just have intelligent conversations about your brackets with everyone. That's our
Start the
invitation.
intelligent conversation below. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Carl, is there anything we're missing?
No.
Okay, well, that's it. See you next week. Bye.